Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you. How y'all doing? Okay, phenomenal. So listen, my name is Astrid, and I'm going to be your moderator today. And what that means is I'll be asking questions, and our wonderful panelists are going to answer. So we are super excited to join you for the Free Your Feels Teen Chat. We're going to talk about mental health concerns, stressors, and of course, healthy coping strategies. In addition, we'll also discuss the importance of mutual support from peers and trusted adults. So let's get to know our panelists. Let's start with you.
So, my name is Chiron. My pronouns are he, they, and I'm 21 years old.
My name is Alex. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm 17.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sierra Hillsman. My pronouns are she, her.
Awesome sauce. So let me dive right into these questions. So Sierra, I'm going to start with you. Can you start by sharing some of the most common mental health challenges among youth and the risk factors that lead to these challenges?
Absolutely. We typically see anxiety, depression, non-suicidal, self-injurious behavior. Some of those risk factors vary. It depends on the individual. But typically you have your home life, maybe even daily lifestyle, the types of content that you're consuming, maybe even dealing with some levels of perfectionism, overthinking, things of that nature.
So you said perfectionism. What does that even look like?
Yes, perfectionism is like seeing yourself as not being able to do everything correctly, ignoring the good, maybe even honing in on the things that aren't what you would consider to be perfect or correct.
Thank you so much for that. Much appreciated. So let me turn it to our youth panelists. So whomever's interested in answering, can you explain in your own words what mental health means to you and what things stress you out on a daily?
For me, mental health means taking care of yourself and how you present in your own mind. So not exactly to other people, but more of caring about yourself and how you really are. I really think that the big two that are stressors would be school and family. You know, there's quite often family drama, and then school is dramatic, you know. It's my senior year, so a lot of college applications, very stressful.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Family drama, family stress, that's a real one no matter what age you are. So thanks for sharing that. Next question. How do you know when you are in distress? How do you know when your mental health isn't the best?
So, I know when I am stressed or my mental health isn't all that great, when I am either like sleeping in or kind of, I guess, like ignoring some of my responsibilities that I have that I normally feel perfectly fine and capable to do, but for some reason I don't have the energy or the, I guess, like for the will to do it. And I know when my mental health isn't the greatest, when I am more closed off from my friends than I normally am.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Thanks for that insight. Next question. In what ways do you see yourself or your friends coping with daily stress?
So I think that there's, you know, healthy and unhealthy coping skills. Not all coping is going to be healthy. For me, some of the healthier ways is some of my friends know that, you know, they can't always be with people. They have to take time to themselves. And so sometimes I'll be texting friends and they'll be like, hey, I just, you know, I need a moment to myself. And I'm like, okay, cool. We'll talk tomorrow. And, you know, unhealthier ways can be like leaning on substance use. And of course, it's not a problem, but it's not a particularly healthy way of coping. So it's just that there's the two spectrums and everybody copes in their own ways. So, yeah.
Thank you. So Sierra, I'm going to turn it back over to you. The suicide rate is highest during mid-teen years. What do you think influences this? And then can you also share some signs and symptoms that we can look for?
Absolutely. Usually when I'm working with my teen clients, like some of the I guess, risk factors for suicidal ideation would be not being heard by their loved ones, also dealing with the day-to-day stressors we were talking about earlier. Also, we call this like the zone of distress, so not being able to widen up the scope to see all the other possibilities that come with life. And some of the things that we need to consider, especially when it comes to suicidal ideation, is like that prompting event. What is it that's triggering these thoughts? What is it that's contributing to the depressive symptoms? If you find yourself not being able to complete your activities of daily living, you have your lack of motivation, you're disengaging from the activities that you once enjoyed, maybe dealing with racing thoughts, you find yourself isolating, withdrawing, not really wanting to talk to any loved one or maybe even your typical friends. These are some of the signs and symptoms that we need to consider that can lead into suicidal ideation. And also too, it may not, suicidal thoughts or maybe even suicidality has no specific look. You can present a certain way and still have all these emotions bottled up within. And so if you're trying to be there for a loved one, make sure that you're learning to look beyond the mask as well.
Thank you. Thank you for all those wonderful nuggets. So back to you two. So Kyron and Alex, a few other questions for you. How have you supported your friends through challenging times, and how would you like to be supported?
I support my friends really by letting them, talk and vent, and then offering solutions that can help them get to, at the very least, a neutral place. So somewhere that they can kind of see the issue from a less negative point of view, and they can see it from, they can see the good and the bad from it, and not trying to give them solutions, but so that they can come to whatever the right solution is for them. I like being supported by being given the space to ask for help instead of being approached for it.
Thank you. The right solution for them. I love that.
So for me, I think I support my friends in a very similar way. Sometimes you don't always need advice or support, you just need somebody to listen. Sometimes it's just like, I'm not asking for a solution, they're just asking for somebody to listen and to affirm their feelings. So sometimes I'm just like, yeah, I get that. That was kind of messed up. And, I think that also goes for me as not always needing a solution, not always needing here's how you fix it, but, just a place to listen is always helpful, I think.
Thank you. Next question. What advice can you give for dealing with challenges while navigating young adulthood?
Ooh. Thanks. I guess that's me. One more time. Challenges for navigating young adulthood.
Yes.
Talk to, talk to the adults in your life, the adults that you trust, because they have also been young adults, and they're old adults, I guess. And trust your intuition about certain things, because sometimes you have a gut feeling, and it's honestly beneficial to figure out how to listen to it and find what's right for you.
Thank you. As an adult, I'm here for that answer. So last question, next to last question. What are some things that you wish parents or adults knew when it comes to supporting youth mental health?
I think one big thing is for supporting mental health, we, as the teen, the offspring, know what we need often. Sometimes parents will be like, okay, you need this, we want you to do this. And teens and children need to be able to be asked, what do you think you need? How can we help you in this? Instead of, here's what you need. So the space to be able to make your own mental health decisions and really learn how to take care of your own mental health and receive support from parents instead of receiving directions. Because we are our own person, and we, at least deep down, know what's best for us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I agree with what Alex said, and I wanted to add on to that. I think making sure that you are aware of not putting any issue that either you have dealt with or are dealing with as a parent, and like burdening your child with those stresses while they're coming to you about what they're feeling and how they're trying to deal with their mental health. And know that for the most part, when we are asking for help, it takes a lot to go and get like mental health help. Like we need an adult to sign up for therapy or things like that. Be open and receptive to the things that we think we need help with, because it might quite literally like save a life. Yeah.
And we're not always the ones who need therapists. We're not always the only ones who need therapists.
That's good. Yeah. I definitely would like to add to that. I always encourage parents to remember what it's like to be a teen or a young adult. The times may be different, society may be different, but it's the same problems across generations. So don't forget to remember that inner child or that inner teen.
Thank you. So this last question is for all of my panelists. What final words, advice do you have for teens who are beginning a new school year?
For beginning a new school year, something that I struggle with, I have a faulty memory. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. So I like to make sure that I have a planner. And it can seem a little silly to, a teacher tell you and be like, I'm sorry, I got to write this down. But it really helps me, just even the action of writing it down. Starting a new school year, I think you should, get a feel of what you really need. If some classes you're like, this teacher talks a lot, maybe I should be writing some of this stuff down. And for classes, my one thing is for classes that give a lot of paperwork. Especially in high school, you're going to want to keep that paper. You're going to want a binder. You don't have to bring it with you. But sometimes teachers will give you paper instead of talk to you. So you want to keep that paper to study.
Yeah, I would say whatever calendar app you use will be a great tool for you. Honestly, like having those reminders pop up on your phone because your phone's always with you, or like on your Apple Watch, just so that you know what kind of things are, like make a Google Calendar or an Apple Calendar.
I would say two things. One, when you're starting your new school year, build your team. Surround yourselves with individuals that you trust. This could be a parent. This can look like a grandparent or maybe an older cousin, a guidance counselor, that school counselor, maybe even a teacher. So don't be afraid to create a support system or an individual that you know that you can go to. And then the second thing that I always encourage individuals is to not be afraid to stop. STOP is an acronym. It stands for literally the first letter, stop what you're doing in the moment. Take a deep breath and take a step back so that you can see the bigger picture. Observe what's going on both inside of you and outside of you. And then you take that information and proceed with caution or proceed mindfully. So build your team and learn how to stop.
Yeah. One more thing to add, now that I'm applying to colleges, you want to have at least some teachers on your side. In high school, you want to have some teachers that can advocate for you, and that can also go outside of just college applications and asking for a recommendation. If you have teachers, especially in your harder classes, that you put up with and they put up with you, and maybe you're like, thank you, or you ask extra questions, then it's always good to form a good relationship with at least some teachers, and try to keep up with friends as much as possible, because when your classes get hard, you sink into your work, and then all of a sudden you haven't seen your friends in weeks. So try to at least talk to your friends at lunch, not talk in class, but make sure that you're being with people in and out of school as much as possible.
And with that, let's give these panelists a round of applause.